Oh, you're here before us. Who let you in? Oh, never mind. You're welcome. But you could have at least put the kettle on. Well, ladies and germs, and welcome to everybody else.
Yes, according to my watch, it's about time to deliver a deluxe box set of BPWMAC. What does that mean? It's Beatles podcast with Mark and Col!
It must be because I can't think of anything else. It
Exclamation mark even.
Oh, there's one of them on there too. Well, in other words, it's another feeble excuse to babble on for an hour or whatever and give you a good old podcast-sized bits and pieces pile of Beatle gumph to the panting masses, and even those without pants. But we love it, and you do too by the sounds of things, and that's why we do it. So here we are, and there you are, and it's all for you bonkers Beatles fans. And by the way, it's free!
It is, no charge at all. The Beatleplaces podcast is by local layabouts.
Hello.
And happy to get happy-go-lucky Beatle nuts, Mark and Col, fresh from the heart of Liverpool. Oh, yes. Yes, we're responsible for the show. Unfortunately, the jokes and the pyjamas we're wearing tonight, and
yes. I think polka dots is coming back. You know.
Don't mention the ladies' underwear.
Oh, so listen. Whether you've tuned in while you're ironing your sock collection or you're swimming a channel to save on bus fare, you can listen to two overtly handsome men talk Beatles stuff for a little while. Whichever way you cut it, we can guarantee something Beatley tonight. Trivia, quizzes, stuff we made up. In fact, it's all fun.
It's all rubbish.
And it's about as random as a Euro lottery lucky tip. But hey-ho.
No, never mind. Once again, it's another podcast in our series, Beatles with an A.
Oh, yeah, I've got to say.
Our alphabetical romp through the formidable. Very good, that. Yeah. This time we've parked up at the letter I. That's it with a dot.
If you're not well educated.
Or a big I on our appreciation of all things Beatles and Liverpool.
Hooray!
So, in keeping with the letter I, we've got a whole heap of interesting, interactive, intellectual, and engaging stuff for you. That's
check your spell check on the last word, Mark. So let's do a quickie old check here.
I got carried away then.
Yeah, and one day you will be. So quick check, Mark.
Here, miss. Col.
Here, my lord.
Yeah.
Cardboard microphone. Yes.
Yes. Tartan slippers. Yes.
Left and right. Hang on, wrong feet. Yeah.
A middle one as well. A month's supply of. What does that say?
Uncle Joe mint balls, laddie.
Oh, so it does.
You can't do without them.
Right then.
So let's waste no more time.
Well, don't stop it.
Oh, okay. Right, hey up then. Let's have a podcast.
Right, first rule of podcast, it must have a theme tune. Wind up. That euphonium call, are you ready?
Well, hello everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, and thank you. That's the whole crowd dealt with. Hey, it's good to see you again, Mark. Good to see you.
Aye.
Yeah, he's forced himself out of his bail hostel to come tonight to talk Beatles stuff with Col, and we have a jolly fun time because when we do it, we're doing it because we want to, and it's usually full of randomised stuff. And I asked Mark especially, would he do me a favour? Letter I. Can he help us out with something special with tonight's letter I, under Beatles with an A, alphabet romp. And Mark's promised to bring a book. Which book is that?
It's called In His Own Right.
Which begins with
I, and it's by John Lennon. It's his
That's
first.
a J.
It's his first book. It says on the front. So I've picked an I from the whole list of bits and pieces in his little book. And this one is called I Wandered.
Oh, great. Crack on.
Begins with an I.
Just to start things
Here
off.
we go. A little poem. On balmy seas and perny schooners, on strivers and warming things, in a peanut coal shed clad, I wandered happy as a Jew to meet good Doris King. Past Grisby trees and hulky bills, past ratters and bradder sheep. In a rhesus baby stooped, I wandered hairy as a dog to get a good night's sleep. Down Hovey lanes and stony claves, down rickets and stickles myth. In a fatty Hebrew girth, I wandered humbly as a sock to meet bad Bernie Smith. And that's it.
But, well,
what a strange poem.
there's more coming tonight, by the way, because we're going to have a little delve in that book all the way through.
Aye.
In his own right. It was a good one, that. But I was thinking, do I know a Bernie Smith? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Good
I'll read another one later on.
Oh,
I think I'll read The Wrestling Dog later on.
Oh, yeah. I can see a picture of it.
There he is, yeah. Very big dog.
Cheers, bud.
Okay.
Letter I time, folks.
Off you go.
Beatles stuff, everybody. Beatles Island. Did you know the Beatles nearly had their own island? It's true. July 67 time. You remember Magic Alex, who was their sort of super techno wizard guy who never proved to be that. And him and I think the fact that Magic Alex was Greek and Alistair Taylor, the PA for Brian Epstein anyway, they found a cluster of small Greek islands in the Aegean. It was totaling around 100 acres and covered in olive leaves, which it was hoped would provide a sort of Tracy Island, that's a bit of a British reference here, like HQ for all the Beatles' activities. How much do you think the island might have cost, Mal?
I would say
in the money of then.
the money back then.
In the money of then.
£100,000.
Do you know what? You're pretty damn close. 90,000 quid.
Oh, pretty good.
Plus a bit of taxes and a few bribes and blah blah.
If it's that price now, I think I'll have one myself.
But John Lennon, unfortunately, he was insulting the military junta because that was the Greek political situation then. He insulted them when he arrived for a reconnaissance trip with the gang. But publicity pictures of the group showed them generally having a nice time, and it was published that way and made it look very, very possible. But when the accountants got the biros out and told the Beatles they only had £137,000 in the bank anyway, the problem was with the UK government, and they said no, to move the money around and whatever else, they couldn't let more than £95,000 leave the country. So the whole idea was ditched. And where would you go from there? So yeah, Beatles Island in its time, good idea. Still like the idea now. It would be quite good. But nowadays, God knows how much it'd cost.
Oh, neither do I. That sounds like a nice place to go on holiday, though. But still, there you go. Anyway, you're listening to Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
Yes, sorry, I need to remind everybody every 8 seconds.
Yes.
Who we are, who I am.
Who are you?
I'll look it up in a minute.
Oh yes, there you are. You've got the name tatted on the back of your neck.
Monty Python reference.
Thank you. Right, shall I tell you about a song?
Oh yeah, you're good at this bit.
All right then.
Yeah.
A song called "I'm Only Sleeping," which begins with the letter I. Fancy that. And it says here, the first draft of John's lyric for I'm Only Sleeping, then called I'm Sleeping, was scratched on the back of a letter from the post office, dated the 25th of April 1966, reminding him that he owed them £12 and 3 shillings for an outstanding radio phone
Well, he was busy
bill.
buying a Greek island. Do you think he's made of money?
2 days later, the Beatles started to record it. It is clear from this first draft that he was writing about the joys of staying in bed, rather than about a drug-induced dream state. His first opening line was, "Try to sleep again, got to get to sleep." John loved his bed. When he wasn't sleeping in it, he would be lying on it, propped up by pillows, writing or watching television. I'm Only Sleeping celebrated the bed and its value as a place for contemplation. It also prefigured Watching the Wheels on the Double Fantasy album.
Did he? Oh, really?
The more worrying truth, however, was that John was losing his grip on the Beatles, spending too much time either in bed or lazing around Kenwood. This indolent behaviour allowed Paul to grab the reins, something that was easier for him to do anyway because of his lack of family ties, and the proximity of Abbey Road to his newly purchased London home. It was a month before this recording that the Evening Standard ran Maureen Cleave's famous interview with John, in which he declared that we're more popular than the Beatles now.
Jesus.
Sorry, we're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will
Another
go
well-known
first.
character.
Yeah, I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity, he said.
That's in the context of what it's meant to say, it's understood. But
Aye.
the way it's interpreted, whole different ballgame.
So that was John Lennon's I'm Only Sleeping, mainly about being in bed.
Yeah, well, I'm all for that these days. I do.
And there he is,
I do
a picture of him in bed.
In bed, yeah, cushions and all. Yeah, you can sort of see the point of it. After all that sort of mania of tours, songs, pressures, albums, performances. Oh, bed's very inviting. Oh, yes. Give me a bit of that, mate.
Let's go to bed.
Cheers, Mark. Good,
Right.
good one, that.
Super.
I think we can delve on a little bigger subject because we're all familiar with how much the Beatles performed on telly, but it took them a little while, and they eventually got round to sort of owning and running their own videos. They made their own videos. They might have been the very first pioneers of pop videos, but I don't think so. There was something to do with black music in the 30s, which were movies that went with songs, but a whole different thing. So the Beatles themselves went into making their own videos, and when they did videos, they operated through a company called Intertel. And guess what? That's got a letter I at the beginning of it.
Good heavens.
So we can talk about it. Yeah, it was Brian Epstein's decision to record clips which liberated the group from having to make no personal appearances and on British TV or any other country that needed television performances. And it enabled them to be sent to audiences around the globe with the minimum effort. I'll ask you how much they cost to make in a minute.
Oh, you swine. I've got to guess again.
What they do, I like testing him. What they do is they'd hire a studio for the day and they would record one song a few times. Paperback Writer, a few others. What they did was they hired a few guys who were sort of, how can I put it, ghost workers. They worked for the BBC, but for a few bob, they'd work for Intertel.
Come and do this for a little bit.
Intertel, yeah.
But don't tell anybody. Come on.
So the band would sing. They would sing their forthcoming singles mostly, and that included ones like "We Can Work It Out," "Day Tripper." You can picture these videos now in your head, in terms of I remember that one. Ringo's on a push bike or a weightlifting bike or whatever it was, and then there'd be the one where Ticket to Ride's on, and they've got these big pictures of tickets behind them. There's a clue. So they would have lots of people involved in helping them record 3 or 4 versions of these things, which they would send around the world, and each country who showed it could claim exclusivity, is a big word. So with We Can Work It Out, for instance, there were 3 versions of that song, each a simple, straightforward performance clip, featuring Paul on bass, George guitar, Ringo drums, John sitting at an organ. Decidedly more humorous, the 3rd version, with the band wearing the costumes from the historic Shea Stadium concert, about 1965 time. They stood in front of sunflowers, and it goes on like that. Sometimes they didn't even mime, they just stood there and ate chips. Day Tripper, there was 3 versions of that with some very, very minor variations. First 2 were like straightforward performances when they mimed, and then in the 3rd one, they again wore their Shea Stadium outfits. So you can see how these things were useful and super convenient for the band because they only had to dedicate a day to it, and they were done. Help, they made 1 version of Help at Intertel, and they were sitting along a long plank of wood and sat on 2 workbenches. They also recorded 2 versions of I Feel Fine. And a lot of free wild ideas went with this. But you can tell that they were just doing as they felt like, which was really interesting. Ticket to Ride, Gotta Go, and the thing was they could record them, and they are available on the Beatles One CD. If you buy a special version, the DVD, there's a DVD comes with it, and some of the old videos were there. I always thought the Beatles should release all the videos. Some way or other, some other way.
I know they've done them on the One DVD. They re-released it and got all videos from that on it.
No, I just think it's a product. They're all
they could do
shifting.
the whole lot,
There's
really.
always Beatles product out there, and
Somebody's got something in the pipeline.
Do you reckon?
A redo of something else.
Yeah.
It's on its way somewhere.
Yeah. We'll talk
Bound to
about
be. Which I'll buy, probably.
we'll talk about products in a minute. So how much do you think they cost to make?
Oh, right, this is the quiz now. Right.
So the entire production costs, I'm saying. So all them videos, all them versions, the band, the lighting, the fellas in the background, the camera work, the studio hire, Intertel doing its editing, how much?
Blimey O'Reilly. £80,000.
Where's my no switch?
No.
750 quid.
Is that all? Good heavens.
And what they do is to show a clip from one of those productions,
Aye.
one song in, say, Spain, they would charge 1,750 quid for that.
Would they
So
now?
they did all right straight
all
away,
right
didn't
now.
they? Yeah. What
I
a
think
good idea.
I think I'll get into that game. That
Do
sounds
you think?
pretty
Yeah,
good, that,
you think
yeah.
you should do some videos in here instead of this podcast?
What of, I don't know.
This podcast rubbish, it's never going to take off.
Me having a shave or something like that.
Hey, that's a good idea. We'll work on that
Whistling.
between shows, yeah.
Put my socks on.
Put it on your to-do list.
Right.
Put it on your to-do list. So there we have it. The Intertel recording studio where the Beatles went a bit mad.
Ah, well, there you go. How about a quiz, young man?
How about a jingle first?
Oh, no. I'd say, how about a jingle first?
Oh, the way you say it. Yeah. Well,
Go on.
let's say it then.
Put this one on.
Together. Let's say, how about a jingle?
Then. Beatleplaces Podcast with Mark and Col. Serious Radio. Oh, that was it then.
I'm afraid so, yeah.
No, that wasn't worth it, really, was it?
Maybe I built it up too much.
It was a waste of time. Anyway,
Cheers.
how about a quiz while you're knocking back the cocoa?
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Here's 3 questions for you. Are you ready?
Poised. I'm poised.
I can tell
I'm as
that
poised
by
as you
the
can
way
be.
you're standing. Right. Name the song George wrote on Help, understood to be about his wife, Pattie Boyd.
Oh, no, the first of the many Pattie
Aye.
Boyd song-related songs, not necessarily just by George. If I needed someone.
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. All
Okay,
right,
that's me answer.
That's just sing about that one. The song Yesterday was provisionally known as what?
Oh, nice easy one.
You know what that one
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Scrambled eggs.
Excellent. Super. You got that one right. In the movie Help, what building was a substitute for Buckingham Palace?
Oh, can I guess out loud?
Go on then.
Blenheim something?
No. No, it wasn't.
Clarendon.
No, quite getting closer. The right starts with the right letter.
Liskeard bus station.
No, you're clutching at straws
The
now.
Grosvenor Ballroom.
Cliveden House.
Cliveden. Something posh.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Patrick Cargill and all that.
Aye.
Not a bit like Cagney.
And the first one again, name the song George wrote on Help, understood to be about his wife Pattie Boyd, was I Need You.
Oh, well, that's another one. That's a new bit of information I never knew. George had.
I again, you see.
So I Need You and Layla and what was the one he
Eric
sang?
Clapton.
Yeah,
No,
something.
yeah.
All about his wife.
Yeah.
She's a very popular girl.
She was.
Yeah, wow, good questions. Is there
Right.
more questions
More
coming
questions
up?
coming up later on, so
Isn't he good? He's reliable too.
gather yourself together.
Well, it's these elasticated waistbands.
Something needs gathering anyway.
Welcome everyone, Mark here, Col here, doing our stuff. We're doing our usual podcast nonsense called Beatleplaces. And we feature, and we have done for a little while, a thing called Beatles with an A, where we go alphabetically speaking, in the right order speaking. We are talking about things Beatles and Liverpool related to do with a letter. And every time we do a podcast, it's a new letter. This time around, it's letter I for Innis. Neil Innes.
Yay.
Yeah, so I found his name, but I think what we'll have to do is talk about him because there isn't a lot written down here, apart from the fact that Neil Innes is a very important character in Beatles stories.
He is.
Mark's met him, shook his hand and stuff, and we've seen him perform.
I've just finished reading his wife's biography of him as well.
Oh, good grief.
Excellent.
So
Called Dip My Brain in Joy.
Oh, which is one of the lyrics from his song, isn't it?
It is. How sweet to be an idiot.
What a great fella he was. I would say, in a hurry, the newscaster would say, oh, he was what they call a parodist. He would make a comedy version of a song, but I thought most of his songs were pretty damn good. I did buy the Ruttles album, which was a spin-off of a Beatles tribute comedy show Eric Idle put together.
Yep.
And Neil Innes, in a matter of 2 weeks, I think, he wrote all the songs that belonged on that show. And the CD is fantastic. It's so close to Beatles music because it sounds like I Want to Hold Your Hand. It sounds like I Am the Walrus. It sounds like Strawberry Fields. That Apple Music sued him. And so he wasn't allowed to claim the royalties for it. It was a bit too close to the real music.
Yeah.
He was that good at making that music sound like them. And to be honest, in the show The Ruttles, All You Need Is Cash, he was a very good John Lennon character. He was called Ron Nasty.
That's right.
And enjoyable stuff. But then again, he was part of another band himself, a real bona fide band called the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band. Made up of all the characters we've loved and enjoyed in our time, fellas like Vivian Stanshall, Legs Larry, and Mark knows the rest.
Rodney Slater.
Sorry, yeah.
Roger Ruskin Spear, Vernon Bud Dudley, Bohey Noel.
See?
And they all appeared in a film as well with the Beatles.
They were. What was the film?
The film was called Magical Mystery Tour.
That's right. Was it part of the striptease segments?
Yeah,
they
it was in the Paul Raymond Review Bar, filmed in Soho in London. And that's they sang Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah, and on the back of that, Death Cab for Cutie was the name of a very good band from America. I think it's Canada, really. Death Cab for Cutie, you've got to look them up because their music is pretty good as well, but they've got nothing to do with the Beatles.
No.
But on the back of a Bonzo Dog Doodah Band song, there's a band. But Neil Innes again, we've seen him do performances, and the last time we saw him, very sadly, was in the last year of his life. It was October of 2020?
Yeah, I think it was
2019 it was, kiddo.
Because
it was my birthday coming up, and you got in touch with me on my birthday.
Right.
And we saw him at the Liverpool Philharmonic, and he did a kind of a support act thing, and he sang
with the bootleg Beatles,
the best tribute band to the Beatles, the bootleg.
Excellent concert.
That was a great night, wasn't it? It was a really good night.
Yep.
And afterwards, Neil was in the foyer signing things and talking to my mate Mark.
A very nice man.
And the last time we ever saw him.
Yep.
He died in the December the 30th of that year. So
he died in France. He just collapsed one day, and that was it, unfortunately.
Well, we got his legacy of stuff, and we've got his performances we could still enjoy. Every record he ever made is kind of available somewhere.
And he just talking about the Ruttles thing as well. The Beatles looked back on their life and did a thing called Anthology. But when the Ruttles did it, theirs was called Archaeology, which is it's not bad. A bit of a laugh.
I know. Yeah, some of the songs in that particular CD are great songs that remind you of Beatles songs, and yet they're unique songs, different songs. I like my favourite Neil Innes Ruttles song is Piggy in the Middle, which is I'm the Walrus.
Yep.
In another nutshell. But he could do it. He could just do it. He could do it with his eyes closed, and maybe that's the way to do it. Neil Innes, God rest his socks. It's in Arrow Park Hospital Radio.
No, it's not.
It's another place, and it's Beatleplaces podcast with Marcus and Collis.
That is us.
Can I do a letter I?
If you must,
That's
go on then.
Interesting. Italy. Who's ever been there? The Beatles have. Not that much is recorded about them being in Italy. We know about them going to Australia and New Zealand and doing Europe in the Hamburg days, certainly about America and certainly all their British performances, and locally here in Liverpool, lots and lots of places here. But once upon a time, they went and performed in Italy. They went to 3 venues in Italy, 3 places in Italy. They were in Genoa, they were in Milan, and they were in Rome itself. And they played there about 1965 time, so it was kind of late on for the way the Beatles were. So I suppose they were just delivering their tour performance in Italy. I've seen somewheres an album cover called Beatles in Italy, them dressed in Italian clothes, something to do with a flag. And I don't know if it's a live recording or a bootleg, but I saw it once. Maybe it's an official thing, I don't know. But what we've got here is that the fact that they were doing, whenever they were playing these three locations in Italy, they do 2 concerts in each place. They were trying to just sort of get through as many people as they could, really, but they saw up to 20,000 people each evening when they sold tickets. So they did their stuff, but once they were done, they were done. They never came back to Italy. What they did do in Rome was they bumped into a very famous person who was a playwright called Noel Coward, and he made an announcement that he would like to meet them. But the polite answer was they were impolite about meeting him because I think he'd slagged them off previously. There's a few swear words in the comment that they didn't want to see him, was his response. But the closing night of the Beatles' 8 concerts, 4-date Italian tour was 28th of June 1965. It wasn't exactly a raving performance that they give. I think they were a little bit sort of tour weary and knackered, frankly, from being everywhere all the time, and hence you could see that the Beatles were trying to aim for somewhere like the studio more often than not. But there they were, Beatles in Italy.
Well, talking about Italy,
I'm
going to mention a bit of India now.
What's that got to do with
That's
it? As a letter of the alphabet.
That's a letter of the alphabet. Concentrate now.
I am paying attention.
What's going on?
I was planning every 5 minutes over.
Yeah, it's a little bit from George's book called I Me Mine. And he's talking about going to India. He said the funny thing about that trip was that when we planned it, I decided I was going to go to India on the way back. That was on the way back from Manila, to have a look and pick up a sitar. Neil said he would come with me. That's Neil Aspinall. Yeah, no, I forgot them for a sec.
Neil Aspinall. Neil Innes.
That was going around my head still. Neil Aspinall. Neil said he'd come with me. I'd bought earlier a crummy guitar in London, a sitar in London.
Oh, that must be the India Craft one.
The Norwegian wood bit. But that wasn't the point. I did want to go to India. Neil was coming because I didn't want to be on my own, but during the early part of the tour in Japan, the others said, "Oh, I'll go too. I think I'll go too." In the end, everybody was going to India, except Brian and Mal, who was staying with the equipment. But by the time we got through the Manila experience, nobody wanted to get off the plane. When it arrived at Delhi, they thought, no thanks, no more changes, let's go home. They didn't want to go through another strange country. So I said to Neil, "Are you still coming?" And he said, "Yeah." So we got our hand baggage, prepared for Delhi, and then a steward or stewardess came down the plane and said, "Sorry, we've already sold all your seats to London, so you'll have to get off." All of them. So they all got off, which we all did. I must say, I knew that India would be okay, but after that Manila thing, I thought it would be better to go straight home. Anyway, the choice was taken away, and the Beatles were in India. And,
sounds like it.
They did want to go, they didn't want to go, they did, they didn't, and then off they went.
No choice then.
Yeah, they're stuck with it then.
It's a bit like a bus route, sorry mate, but there we are.
Yeah, they drove us to the hotel, he says. A strange journey because in India there are so many people everywhere that it looks like if something drastic has happened. And in New Delhi, being built by the British, it has dual carriageway streets and roundabouts. It looks like Hunt's Cross. And all the people sit out in these roundabouts in the evening, have them all down the streets, and there were kids on mopeds shouting and following us. It turned out to be a good trip though, except that when we went out of town in old 50s Cadillacs and walking around the villages, I realised that the camera I had was probably worth more than they could in their entire lives. So
bit of reality check.
Bit of reality.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's not been covered so much yet. It'll come that the Beatles in India will get a full on thing, because you've heard and I've heard that they took cameras with them and cine cameras, and I think they
filmed everybody. They filmed each other all the time.
Yeah, Ringo came home first.
Yeah.
And what they said was, if you're going to send anything back to India, send back cine film. So they must have heaps of stuff, just like the Get Back movie.
Yeah.
They preserved all hours and hours and hours, 50 plus hours of footage. So there's a zillion million miles of cinema to go.
Loads of stuff.
Yeah, we don't know the half of it, do we?
Oh no. That's why we're here, to let people know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's why we're dressed in our funny pyjamas. Yeah. Welcome everyone. Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col again. Doing a feature again in a series of 27 and a half Beatles with an A. And this time we've stuck at the letter I for Italy, Indigo, Innis and Italy. And here's one, and that's got an I in it, Indra, which is India. Mark brought it up, so I thought I'll mix the two up here. I'll grab this thing out at the Indra Club.
Very good.
It's the club they played at when they arrived in Hamburg. The Beatles the Beatles played their first 200 hours of music in Hamburg was the Indra Club. It was their baptism of fire, transforming themselves from an average group into something very special. Long hours, frenetic shows, pills, booze, insistent demands to max show. Excuse my bad German. And
it's all right.
Yeah, danke schön. So crammed into Alan Williams's minivan in company with his wife Beryl, brother Barry Cheng, who lived on the Whittle, by the way. He was a surveyor. I looked him up once.
Oh.
I didn't ring him up and look him up. I looked him up on what he did. And of course there was another guy who came along who was a waiter who came along in the van. That van, as well as the Beatles, must have been rammed. So they all arrived in Germany in that very cold time of the year, and the first venue was the Indra Club. It was run by Herr Koschmieder, Bruno, to his friends, who took them down to the Grossfreiheit, where they saw all the seedy stuff, but at the very end of it was this tiny club with its little neon sign shaped like an elephant, the Indra Club.
Oh.
You're playing there. So after their 36-hour journey from Liverpool, the band went on stage at the club that very night, 17th of August 1960, as long ago as that. And they played for 4.5 hours. First night to an uninterested audience of how many people?
6.
Is correct.
Is it?
Yeah, you're right.
Good
yeah,
heavens.
You must be able to see through.
I can see through paper.
See
yes.
through paper. The contract called for them to perform 4.5 hours each evening during the week. And how many hours of a Saturday and a Sunday?
12.
6 hours, yeah. 12 in total, yeah.
Right.
And how much did they? I don't know why I'm asking you these questions. You have no idea.
I haven't. No.
Yeah. They were paid. They were paid
Only here for the
per
beer.
man a week, 30 Deutschmarks. Now I think I was backpacking around Germany, when I was a teenager, and I think a postcard cost 3 Deutschmarks. So you know how little they were paid.
And a Deutschmark is what the before they took over the euro.
Correct.
How many Deutschmarks there were to a pound? I haven't a clue now.
Oh, well, there's an interesting thing I'll bore you with in just a wee bit, but it's another eye, and it's kind of a semi-interesting one, really. But there we are, a little bit about the Indra. Of course, they moved on from there, but I know the great and wonderful Mark Lewison, he totted up how many hours the Beatles played in Hamburg in total, and it is incredible. You could see that they'd gone in not being very good and they came out being stupendous.
Yeah.
And that's down to the fact that they played so much. They just played such a lot. The Indra Club.
Aye. I was going to mention something about the film A Hard Day's Night.
What's I about that?
Well, it's in the Peter Sellers version of It's a Hard Day's Night.
Aye.
That's got in the charts. where he impersonates, or sort of, the well-known actor
Oh, Richard.
Richard III,
Aye.
played by what's his name? I forgot his name.
Peter Sellers.
No, the actor. He did.
Oh, Lawrence.
Laurence Olivier. So Laurence
There's
Olivier.
a Laurence Olivier impersonation of Richard III,
Yeah.
comedically evaluated by Peter
By
Sellers.
Peter Sellers, who starts off with, "It has been a hard day's night."
Yes, he did it that way,
He
didn't
does,
he?
yes. So I just thought that came into my head then.
Yeah.
So
It was
yeah.
good, though. It was a good version, if you will. Yeah, interesting.
So that was the thing that came into my head then. So I just had to say.
I tell you what, I mean, I wrote down something earlier, and I was thinking there is some current Beatle news, which I think is for interesting. We got Ringo with his country and western album. Apparently, it's doing all right.
I haven't heard it,
I've
to be
not
honest.
heard any of it.
No.
All I know is he's gigging still, and he's 84-ish. This year, July, I think his birthday. Well, when his birthday comes around, he's 84-ish. And then there's a John and Yoko documentary thing out there, film. No two ways about it. I've seen the trailer, but it is mostly about their sort of Greenwich Village era, when they're in New York to begin with, and just getting the foot in the door with staying in America and dealing with their immigration, and it goes on. Yeah, and then lo and behold, in terms of real records, George has got something out. There's a George box set of, I think it's Let It. I've forgotten. Yeah,
I've seen something somewhere about that, but I can't remember.
And I'm
what
not
it
sure
is.
if it's not a rehash of songs, but it's a version of things. Maybe it's alternative takes of songs. Don't know. White cover, very pretty.
And there's supposed to be a George thing coming out with sort of a documentary about the Travelling Wilburys as well, which George Harrison.
That'll be good.
George Harrison was in.
That'll be good.
So that's
they
supposed
were
to be
good.
on Netflix or one of those streaming programs, Disney or something like that.
It seems to me
On its way somewhere.
there is some songs out there we haven't heard yet. You know, however much they've said, there's only 2 volumes.
There must be.
There must be more. And other news was, did you see Paul? Did you see Paul on the...
Yes, I was going to mention that as well, on the Bruce Springsteen concert in Anfield,
The Anfield
football
Stadium.
stadium. But I did think, though, that Paul's voice was not what it could be. Seeing he's, how old now? 82?
82-ish.
82. I shouldn't have bothered, really, Paul.
It was enough that he was there and he waved.
Yeah, he waved.
And I knew he was around, but I'll tell you how I knew he was around, because his bins were out.
Right.
Yeah, I went past his house the other day.
Next to John Barnes' bins as well.
Oh, was John Barnes lived up there?
He had his skip always outside his house.
That's where John Barnes lived
Not
down
far
there.
away from there.
Yeah,
in
we're talking about where
Yeah.
Paul lives in this area. He lives in an area called Heswall in Merseyside, and it's a lovely house. And it's one he's had since about 1964-5. And it's a smashing house called Rembrandt. And usually and there's no sign saying this is Paul McCartney's house, and there's usually no sign saying this is Rembrandt. Anyone who knows just knows it's that house. And when the winter comes, the trees get a bit bare, and you can see the whole house from the street. But you can't go and knock on the door or anything silly like that. I'm sure security would
There's somebody
airlift
there,
you
I
away.
think, all the time. looking after
But
the
his
place.
bins were out, so I thought, I must have missed him. You know?
Aye.
Yeah.
So you went through his bins, and what did you find?
Once I'd gone through his bins, I realised he's a vegetarian, and he reads a lot. So no, I don't know. Just the bins were out. That's all the notes
Well,
is.
thanks for that.
So there we go.
Astounding bit of news.
Cole's bin watch is back next time. Whose bins are out? We'll find out next time.
Right. Anyway.
The Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. Find us under B for Beatles, or P for podcast, or A for any old rubbish.
Here's another quiz for you. 3 more questions.
Oh, lovely.
Right. Which Beatle appeared as a guest on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour?
Oh. Do you know?
There's that one. I'll give you another one now while you think of which Beatle appeared on the Smothers Brothers, and which Beatle appeared as a doorman in the programme Not Only But Also with Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. All right, you've got that one, I think.
Me head's nodding.
And finally, number 3, which Beatle appeared in an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And also, which Beatle appeared in The Life of Brian? All right. Okay.
Acknowledged. Do I have to say him now?
And all people listening, I'd like to shout out the answers now, please. Here's the first question again.
Okay.
So shout out your answer, and I'll listen out for the one who's the loudest. Which Beatle appeared as a guest on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour?
Pause.
Listen.
I think I can hear Olaf from Norway.
Iceland. I
Olaf
think.
from Iceland. Sorry.
Iceland, yeah.
Sorry, I was looking the wrong direction.
Sven's from Norway.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And he said he doesn't know.
It's George.
It's George.
George appeared on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
He looked particularly cool in that little clip I've seen.
And which Beatle appeared as a doorman in Not Only But Also?
Famously, pause.
Aye.
Sounds to me like we've got Helga
Aye.
from Norway
Again.
who's rung in, and she's saying, "Hello, is the answer John Lennon?"
Yeah.
It's right, Helga. Well done.
Well done, yeah.
Right, we'll send you a MoneyGram now.
Yeah, there's a packet of Wrigley's spearmint on its way to you now. Which Beatle appeared in an episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus?
Well, yeah, it's a short clip,
Aye.
but we'll have a pause.
Go on then. Any idea?
And
go on, shout out the name. I can hear you.
We're getting a fax coming in.
Yeah, and it says a fax.
From Hank. Hank
from Paris.
Hank from Paris.
Yeah. Oh, his
and
legs
he's
fell
fallen
off.
over.
Yeah.
He's excited, you see, Mark.
What's the answer?
I forgot what the question was. Oh, it was Python, yeah.
Yeah.
Ringo.
It was Ringo, yeah.
Yeah, he was with Lulu, the singer. Lulu, the singer.
Yeah. And which Beatle appeared in The Life of Brian, Monty Python's Life of Brian?
Pause. Who's that knocking on the door?
That's... No. Who's that ringing a bell?
It sounds to me like it's...
It could be.
It's...
George Harrison.
George Harrison.
Because he put the money up for the film.
Yes,
so they could make it.
He was Mr. Papadopoulos in the movie. Very short clip, but he's in it.
Yeah.
And
he looked a bit confused.
Good though, yeah. I remember the John Lennon clip when he's kind of like a doorman outside a public men's toilets in London, when they were kind of like a big deal then, I suppose. And it's the first time he wore his granny glasses on telly, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. And the famous comedian Peter Cook said, it's exclusive, this club. Said, yes, just follow your nose, sir, follow your nose. And I love that line, I've always remembered it. Follow your nose. So yeah, good ones. There were all kinds of appearances. I've seen Ringo in a sort of comedy scene. I think that was the Smothers Brothers as well. I think Ringo had a bash at it. But George was famously first. And he was good in it, he was funny too, yeah.
Can you remember what the reply was to the question, is it you?
Ah, right. Well,
that's
you're talking about... That's a good question, randomly picked. But is that the one where John Lennon's going up the stairs of the theatre and he bumps into a lady called Anna Quayle? Yeah. Don't ask me how I know.
Coming down the stairs.
Who's dressed as like a dancer.
Yeah.
And she thinks he's more famous than he's somebody else.
And she says to him, is it you? And he says, no. And she said, it looks pretty like you. Said, no. No, it's my brother or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was all ad-lib, to be honest. But it was quite good. She's a famous British actress who can probably claim to fame. Like, there was a guy in Hard Day's Night who was very much an actor. A fellow called Kenneth Haig.
Oh, yes.
And he was a little bit snooty about...
I love that little bit of...
He was a little bit snooty about the fact he was given this role to play with George Harrison, and he was told to deal with him as like a marketing shirt or pop or something. And Kenneth Haig said, that's below me, that, so do it. His agent said, do it, it'll be worth your while. And of course, it's the most famous thing he's ever been in.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have complained, should he?
And what does George say to him? You should wear this, he said. You should wear this. It's the in thing. Everybody will dig it. And George says, I'm not wearing that. It's dead grotty.
Which we do
what
say.
Does that mean? What does that mean? He says, write that down.
We do say grotty round here.
Oh, well, now it's dead grotty.
And a bunch of other nasty words. There you go. Now you know.
Right.
Cheers, Mark.
Here's a story. Once upon a time in a far-off distant land, far away, far across the sea, miles away from anywhere over the hills as the crow flies, 39 people lived miles away from anywhere on a little island on a distant land. When harvest time came along, all the people celebrated with a mighty feast and dancing and that. It was Perry's, for Perry was the loud mare. It was Perry's job to provide, and Perry's great pleasure, I might add, a new and exciting, and it usually was, thrill and spectacular performer. Sometimes a dwarf was used, This year, Perry had surpassed himself by getting a wrestling dog. But who would fight this wondrous beast? I wouldn't for a kick-off. And a picture of it that John has drawn here. It's a huge dog in a boxing ring, or wrestling ring, with people watching, and it's about 10 foot long, this dog.
It's a big picture, isn't it?
I'm not wrestling that.
Little dots in the background are people, and the dog's massive. I think it's great.
Cost a fortune to feed that.
It's great.
Anyway, you're listening to Beatleplaces podcast.
I'm afraid so, folks. Welcome.
Giving unemployed, good-looking, tall, handsome, well-groomed voiceover artists a bit of part-time work. It's the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
Is that all right?
That's fine. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next. Did you like that?
That was nice.
Do you think so? A bit harmonic for a change.
Yeah. It's,
And compared to us,
it brought
quite
tears
good.
to my eyes.
Yeah. Well, you're sitting wrong. Put a cushion there.
That's better.
I for Institute, Mark.
Oh, yes.
I for Liverpool Institute. I for the nickname called the Innie.
Yeah.
Paul and George's secondary school. Worth a mention. Quarrybank School was set in Allerton, where John went to school. One of Liverpool's suburbs, whereas the Innie, the Liverpool Institute, was in town, and we know where that is in town. It's very, very prominent. And it too had a kind of a grand history. It was kind of a posh school, really. As posh as John's was, a very similar grammar school. All the teachers wore mortarboards and gowns, and they had to pass an 11 plus to get in there, which is a sort of special exam when you're 11 years old. And it was just basically prestigious. Charles Dickens once lectured there.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's been to Liverpool a few times, has Charlie.
Has he?
Aye.
Have you noticed, or has he not paid his bills, or what?
He just wrote me notes every now and then.
So as we kind of know, Paul and George went there because they passed their 11 plus exams. They were in different years, and Paul was ahead of George in the rankings in terms of he was like a year ahead. But there we were. John Lennon's uncle, however, a fellow called Sissy Smith. That was the surname of John's uncles, the Smith family. Sissy Smith, he taught there as well. He was also a very large Boy Scout, because in the Innie, it had its own internal Boy Scout troop.
Really?
Which is the one Paul and his brother Mike were in. And Sissy Smith was kind of in the same Cub Scout uniform when they went camping. And let's just say he liked it. Let's just say he liked being dressed
the shorts, probably.
in shorts with his knees being very knobbly on the day.
Yes.
So now the Liverpool Institute, for a while I noticed Liverpool Institute was being run down, and me and Mark did a radio course, I remember, up in Colquitt Street, and we were noticing they were doing things to the college, the school. They were making it into a Institute for Performing Arts, something called LIPA.
Aye.
And Paul McCartney said he didn't want to see his old school go to rack and ruin like a lot of buildings can do. And so he got some money together. He put some of his own money in it, I suspect, as well. And they built it into a performing arts college, if you will. Yeah. So anyone who's got that talent, I think Adele even thought about going there once upon a time.
Quite a few famous people have put their money to help with that as well, apparently. So I believe.
I'm not aware of anybody but Paul.
Oh, there's also I can't remember her name. If you play a jingle, I'll tell you.
Oh, well, here's one coming right up.
Righto.
If at first you don't succeed, then join the rest of us on the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
Yes, I believe it was quite a few bits of money from Joan Armour Trading as well went into LIPA.
Oh, well, she's a well-known UK performing artist. Songs like Love and Affection, and there is another big one she sang.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But apparently she's an alumni, or not alumni, but she's one of the patron of Liverpool John Moores University.
Oh, you never know till you know, do you?
Aye. Anyway, how about go back to the year 1964?
Ooh, I'm there.
When I was 10, and I got my first record player, and the first Beatles single I got was called "She's a Woman," backed with "I Feel Fine" with an
Okay,
I.
all right, you win that one, yeah.
So
good.
John wrote this "I Feel Fine" with the excellent beginning guitar riff of the feedback
Yes.
coming out of it. John wrote this number at a recording session around the opening guitar riff. John takes lead vocal with Paul helping at times and all singing harmony. At the beginning of the song, feedback can be heard, probably the first time this effect has been used on a record. John and George played the guitar duet. The recording was made in early October 1964, and with advanced orders of 500,000 by November the 5th,
Wow.
and up to 750,000 just before release, the Beatles' eighth single went straight to number one on December the 2nd, by which date it had sold 800,000, only 5 days after release. By December the 11th, it had sold 1 million, making it the Beatles' fifth consecutive million-selling single in Britain, and one of the fastest, if not the fastest, selling single ever in Britain. It stayed at number one for 6 weeks, and was in the top 10 for 8 weeks, and the top 30 for 10 weeks. Global sales can be estimated at over 3 million. And I think this when this book was written in, I don't know, let's have a look at the 1982 this was printed.
Yeah, add a couple.
I'd say add another few million to those figures.
Well, with compilations and the one LP and all the extras that come with compilations, you can't fail, can you?
No.
Yeah. But it was expected because they were big songs. I mostly listened to a 60s digital channel. And of course, I'm listening for Beatles songs most of the time, but the amount of great songs that we had from the 60s compared to like even now, last week, last year, I'm thinking the comparison isn't there.
Whether I'm getting older, but I don't know who is in the charts at the moment.
Well, I've got some stuff out there now.
But I haven't a clue.
Yeah, you can stream me anytime. Col's Banjo Greats.
Oh, right, okay.
I play Peruvian flute music
Oh,
on
I
banjo.
think I did buy that when it first came out about 15 years ago.
I've sold... I should check.
I think I bought them all.
I think, just to stop them.
Just to stop any more being made. Yes. Please stop. Anyway.
Okay, I've got an eye. And
Have you?
I've got an eye for an eye. My eyes drifted
Very good.
My eyes drifted to this. Very Beatles related. A big fan of the Beatles, Eric Idle. We've combined Monty Python in a few questions and topics tonight through Neil Innes and through the questions. So let's talk about a real Monty Python person. He was a member of Monty Python, everybody knows that, but we know that what he'd done was he performed in Monty Python, and George was a fan of Monty Python. Though he never appeared in the show, he bothered to appear in a spin-off show that Eric Idle made. And Eric Idle, his connection with George Harrison's a weird one, because Eric Idle was born in South Shields in the north of England, and his mother was a district nurse. And his mother became a widow when I think Eric was 3 or 4. Something very sad about it. But it meant they moved a lot, and once upon a time they moved to a place called Wallasey in Merseyside. And Eric Idle went to the local school there called St George's, and he lived there for a little while, a few years. And of course he moved on because he was a clever lad and got to university and boarding school and so on. But he had his time in Merseyside, and he believes he met George Harrison when he was a little kid, because he and George Harrison may have met in the New Brighton Fun Fair.
Yep. And a place called the Red Noses.
On the Red Noses, famously, a little ride you could have, the Red Noses.
And it's the Rocky Outcrop, that's what it's called.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So he must have been playing there and
rock.
thinks he met a Scouse lad called George, and George met a fella called Eric who looked funny and not funny. But when they became pals, it was about 1972, 73, 74, and Eric Idle by then had written and produced and broadcast a show called the Rutland Weekend Television Show. It's not on telly. They won't repeat it. Eric Idle's got personal reasons why he won't have it back on telly. I think it's to do with a previous girlfriend, something to do with a wife. But you can always see it on the internet if you look up Rutland Weekend Television. And in the middle of the show, I think there was a Christmas special he made, and George Harrison's in it. And there's a joke or six about the fact that he wants to perform as a pirate.
Yeah.
And he sings a song he wrote for the show called The Pirate Song, which is all right. Neil Innes helps him along singing it as well. So we got all those answers in one there. They were. But it was Eric who convinced George to invest in Monty Python making The Life of Brian and various other projects they had. And he got involved in making movies because of like the Pythons and how successful his ventures were with them. Which led him to make and purchase a movie called Handmade Films. Mm-hmm. And they made a bunch of films, not with George in it, but in the end, George was in one or two. He was in Shanghai Surprise with Madonna. That was one of his productions. But it's just odd that, like, from just knowing a comedian, it's span off into so many other things. But that's the connection, the Eric Idle connection. And Eric's still around to tell all his stories, and he likes to sing a song or six, so... there he is, Eric Idle.
That's the man.
He is the man.
Right, cast your mind back to 1968.
Again, more casting me mind.
Going back in time, yeah. Take me back to your childhood. Right. Today, by the way, is June the 16th. But June the 15th in 1968, John and Yoko held their first public event by planting an acorn for peace at Coventry Cathedral. That was their first public event.
Oh, the Acorns thing, yeah.
And June the 16th, Intertel TV Studios in Wembley.
Hello.
David Frost interviewed Paul before a live audience for an all-British Frost programme taped for transmission in America. The programme was also called David Frost Presents Frankie Howard. And on it, Howard interviewed Paul about Apple. Then Paul introduced Mary Hopkin, and she sang 2 songs. Oh. And then June the 18th, which is Paul's birthday, George, Patty, Ringo and Maureen flew back to London from California. The National Theatre production of the John Lennon play In His Own Right, directed by Victor Spinetti, opened at the Old Vic Theatre, London, and John and Yoko's arrival together at the theatre was seized upon by the press.
When is it not seized upon?
Everywhere they went.
When were they never seized upon?
So that was June 1968.
Well, it's nice to get a bit of reference, isn't it?
Just find out where you are, where you come from, what was going on there.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
All those years ago.
All this time, all bringing us up to the future, and right now, here's a reminder as to who we are. It's the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We haven't planned the show, so nothing can go wrong. And guess what? That's who we are. Can't deny it. It's all out in public now.
I wondered who we were.
Well, I mean, we're getting near the end of the show. Well, so we'll have an eye roundup in it. Take all the eyes we can think of, and all the eyes that are ever were Beatle related. But Mark mentioned birthdays. It's Macca's birthday in a few days' time. Good luck, Macca. Best wishes. I'll give him a wave when he's doing his bins. So I think what we can do is mention another a song about a birthday, and it connects George with John. It's a song called "It's Johnny's Birthday." Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't.
It's a track that's on the All Things Must Pass album, the tripled thing, you know, the big fat heavies. I never could afford it.
Yeah.
But it's a very short little song, but it's on there. It's called "It's Johnny's Birthday," or sorry, should say posh. It's Johnny's birthday. Yoko Ono requested George to write a greeting or a song for John on his birthday, 9th of October. And George thusly recorded a very short piece based upon the famous tune called Congratulations, which was a Eurovision song for Cliff Richard in his time, 1968, I think it was. So it's not credited to George, but George just replaced some of the words with some of his words. And it's still credited to a fellow called Bill Martin and Phil Coulter, based upon their very original song called Congratulations. So I'm trying to say to myself, how would you say it? It's Johnny's birthday, it's Johnny's, you know, sort of like that. I guess it's like that, but there you go. In a future podcast episode, we'll mention about the royalties that two fellas from Germany get for some Beatles songs. We'll mention that another time when we do a letter related to that. Anything left on your side of the pile, Mark?
How about I Should Have Known Better song?
Story of my life.
Aye. Released as the flip side of A Hard Day's Night in America, I Should Have Known Better was the first song in the film and performed in a sequence where the Beatles and Paul's grandfather, played by Wilfred Bramble, are on a train and banished to the mail van, where they start playing cards and several cuts later appear with guitars, harmonica and drums. It just seemed the natural place to have the first number, said Alan Owen. Although much of the filming took place on trains travelling between London and the West Country, I Should Have Known Better was actually filmed on a set at Twickenham Film Studios. Surprisingly for a song by John, it is very optimistic. He loves her, she loves him, and everything's fine.
Oh, I'm not going to listen to that anymore.
Yeah.
Another you're right, it's a good one.
Another quick eye. John and Paul wrote I'm Happy Just to Dance With You for George to sing in the film, to give him a piece of the action, in inverted commas. And it was filmed on stage at the Scala Theatre in Charlotte Street in London. As the youngest member of the Beatles, George was living in the shadow of Paul and John, and when he started writing his own songs, he was resentful that more of them weren't considered for the albums. John was equally hurt in 1980 when George published his biography I Mean Mine, and made no mention of John's influence on his songwriting. Paul has admitted that I'm Happy Just to Dance With You was a formula song. So,
well, you know, fillers and whatever else. You're not going to avoid them when bands have to deliver products all the time, like singles, records, albums. They're going to make the odd duffy.
A little pick here, pick there.
The truth is, I mean, it's not a bad song, really. But
I quite like it.
Yeah, I know the reference you mean about John getting upset he wasn't mentioned very much in George's autobiography, but it happened. You know, he went and said it, and it's the George way. He answers things. He's kind of unexpectedly right. You know, he's kind of faces himself. He's his own man. He always was. So yeah. Letter I's coming to a conclusion tonight on the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We've got some I's to finish up with. So tonight we've talked about various songs that begin with letter I, but we may have missed a few out. We've got I Call Your Name, I Feel Fine, Mark talked about it, I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, and then I Mean Mine, which is a book and a record and I Need You, I Saw Her Standing There, I Should Have Known Better. And apparently there's 33 other I songs out there that the Beatles did, including I Am the Walrus. We mentioned Neil Innes. There's also a lady I was going to mention to, but I can't remember the story behind it. A lady called Fanny Inkley, who was a teacher at Paul's school, who taught him Spanish. And I was going to mention it, but there's no time tonight. So that's the way it goes with this podcast. We just don't know what we're doing all the time. We've talked about the places that are Beatle places for the band. There was the INI, the Liverpool Institute. There was the Iron Door, which was kind of like an alter ego of the Cavern, really. The Beatles didn't play a huge amount there. They helped perform in bands at the time, but it's not far from the Cavern, as most things are in Liverpool. Everything's close enough. There's Airby Village Hall, where the band played, I think it was 10 days before one of their first singles came out, and they were paid 25 quid. So wouldn't you have liked to have seen them there? Airby Village Hall, which I've been to, and at the time I photographed the hall, they were doing a taekwondo exhibition. So, can I get in there before you start? I said, well, you can join in if you want. I said, no, thanks.
I'll chop you in half.
There's the, I'll mispronounce this, help me along here, Mark. Is it Indica? Indica, the art gallery, where Paul and John got kind of like back into their art mode. It was based in Oxford Street, but it was where Paul met Barry Miles and hung around with various types, and of course it led to Yoko Ono being involved out there as well. Briefly, we mentioned sitars before when George was buying a brand new one, but he got his original first ever sitar from a place called Indiacraft, another eye. Intertel, we talked about that, the video company, which I wish I'd bought shares in it now. But, you know, in his own right was the icing on the cake tonight. So Mark did us a favour with some great readings from that great man's book. I hope you enjoyed them. Hope you enjoyed the show as well. Anything to add?
Yeah, shall I end on a poem?
Oh, smart. Yeah.
Right, so we'll be back next time with another
letter.
Another letter, probably J.
Do you reckon? Do you think it's... Yeah,
I don't see why not,
popular
really.
choice, yeah.
It's in the middle between I and K. So
have we got that far?
Yeah. Well, God knows what's happened when we get to X, but anyway.
A short show.
Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col.
Hey!
And that's it, really. I hope you enjoyed everything, and there you go.
We'll be back.
Right.
We'll be back.
Here's a poem from John Lennon's book called In His Own Right. His first book, it says on the front. It's called The Mouldy Mouldy Man.
Like it already.
I'm a mouldy man. I'm mouldy through and through. I'm a mouldy man. You would not think it true. I'm mouldy till my eyeballs. I'm mouldy till my toe. I will not dance thy shy balls. I'm such a humble Joe. And with that,
Ta-ra.
we left the room.
Not quietly.
No, definitely not quietly. No.
Ta for listening.
Don't drop those knives and forks.
Helga, what are you doing?
That glass.
Hank. Thanks for listening to the Beatleplaces podcast with Mark and Col. We hope to see you again real soon, and don't forget to visit the gift shop on the way out.